After taking a season off, probably sore from all those gains, Doga Kobo has returned with yet another show so sweet, the studio may as well be making candy at this point. And in this instance, specifically rock candy. Screw you, that's funny. And topical. Asteroid in Love at first comes off like most cute girls doing cute things shows do. Cute girls? Check. Extremely specific interest that unifies and catalyzes the interest of said cute girls? Check. Sort of. Well, yes, Asteroid in Love focuses on one club in particular, the interests of the members are not as aligned as you might find in something like, say, Anima Yell, Yuru Camp, or This Art Club Has a Problem. Because the club is made up of two distinct groups that were previously different clubs, which then had to combine because neither had enough members on their own. Yay, anime school bureaucracy! As a result, the astronomy and geology clubs were merged to form the more general Earth Sciences Club, though that division in interests persists. But rather than have that fact fuel tensions and arguments between members, it's instead used as a jumping off point for further discussion about specific topics in each subject, that in turn providing more points of comparison between each of our characters, giving them all more depth. That's something only the better stories in this genre do, especially so early on. Average ones will still have differentiation in personality between characters, but I find they rarely go beyond surface level, and those differences feel more like fodder for jokes and brief interactions, rather than something that's actually a part of their character and can have the potential to impact development later on. That's not to say overall those shows are bad because of this. Not every story, especially in this genre, has to have complex relationships or exceptional character arcs. I still love Yuru Camp, despite the biggest development being Rin learning to be a little less of a loner. Asobi Asobase is hilarious, despite the characters starting and staying pretty awful people. But it's for that reason that I enjoy when series of this ilk put in more effort than what you might expect. Series like Demi-chan, New Game, and Sakura Quest. But focusing back on Asteroid in Love, thanks to the aforementioned dynamic, it's in a unique position within the genre. The club angle leads to a lot of typical school-related shenanigans, field trips, cultural festivals, and just general activities, whereas the diverse interest base among club members leads to one group teaching the other about their passions and active discussion, which then leads to talk about specific goals and aspirations, or lack thereof, that fleshes out the cast even further. And Asteroid in Love absolutely leans into this, often pairing off the cast almost as much as the entire group is together, so you can see specific dynamics develop and more of those niche interests explored. Ino's love of cartography that we see in episode 3 is a great example, and one that also highlights how passion for one subject can spark curiosity in another, as that's how she came to be a part of the club in the first place. Even Mira, the series' most central character, is also an example of this, acting like a sponge soaking up the interest of others. Sure, she's dead set on discovering an asteroid, but even that goal she got from Ao when they were both young. And it's simply nice to see her not shut out other ideas or subjects, but actively engage with and appreciate them, especially when it's all framed around science and learning. It's a method that makes her more three-dimensional and also makes the character interactions more compelling. This active discussion and camaraderie between club members makes every conversation more meaningful. You care because it adds to the idea that these aren't static characters meant to fill a specific archetype, but actual friends learning and growing together. And a perfect example of this is the end of episode 6 when Sakura and Monro announce they'll be stepping down from their roles as vice president and president, respectively, asking Ino to lead the club for the remaining school term. The episode ends before we learn what Ino's full reaction to this is, if she's even interested in being president, and thanks to the coronavirus, we still don't know yet. Until the day this video goes live, so I might start looking like a really big dummy right about now. Because I don't think this is a fake out. Based on the nature of this show, the fact that we've already seen moments of deeper characterization that continue to be brought up and influence the actions of the characters, I'm willing to believe we could see a mini character arc as Ino learns to take charge as president of the club. Something similar to Hifumi becoming team leader at the start of Season 2 in New Game. This development is happening only halfway through the season, which is another reason why I'm inclined to believe we could see some really nice and potentially heartfelt moments stemming from this changing of the guard. Plus, it'd also make thematic sense, as Ino was the one who suggested the pamphlet idea in episode 1, which was the first activity that christened and unified the new club. Maybe I'm just being overly optimistic as someone who also had a club leadership kind of dumped on him earlier than expected. I've got a feeling I'm right though. or at the very least that this will have some greater significance for the plot going forward. Overall, it's not that adding depth or complexity to characters is a revolutionary concept, even within this genre, or even how this show has done it, but it's one I still appreciate seeing and lifting up as an example of what good characterization can do for even the simplest of stories. But those are just my thoughts, and as always, I'd love to hear what you have to say. Are you watching Asteroid in Love? Are you gonna check it out now? Do you think it's as complex as I'm saying it is, or am I slowly losing my grip on reality? Those thoughts and others can be left down below. Thank you so much for watching though, and as always, an especially big thanks goes out to my awesome patrons, OverjoyedSoup, MVPino, James Morton, Marbled Ranger, Spudge, Beorn, Yuki Aly, and everyone else whose support helps make videos like these possible. Links to that Patreon if you'd like to join them, my shirts, and everything else are either down below or on the screen right now. Leave a like and be sure to click that bell icon to keep up to date, or you could just follow me on Twitter for updates. Stay awesome, and I'll see you next time.